band that we've done here before. In Indiana, usually we have down in the recital hall and whatnot. So I hope we're real excited about you being here, us getting a chance to play something that's going to be kind of casual tonight, okay? Please loosen your ties if you want, take off your jacket, anything you like. If you want to ask us anything about what we're playing, that's even better. So if we can get a little dialogue going here and maybe have some fun and just play some pieces. When Lenore called me, by the way, I'm John Wacker, for those of you who I haven't met yet. I'm new to the department here. I've been here about 6 weeks, and I'm cutting my teeth and learning my way around the building and learning everybody's names little by little. And I did my doctorate here a few years back, and so now I'm on the faculty, and I'm excited about being here. And I hope we're going to get to do some of these type of things, maybe here, maybe outside, around town, around the country over the next few years. Anyway, when Lenore called me about 2 weeks ago and suggested this project, first we were going to try and set it up to come out to Meadowood. But as you can see, we have an awful lot of stuff, and it's really difficult to move it. So we're hoping that maybe it'll be different to come see, you know, what we do here and get a little idea of what kind of things the students are doing here. It wasn't meant to be a student recital. It was meant to be the percussion section from the Camerata Orchestra. However, because with every different piece that we perform with the Camerata, there's different players on it. There really is no set section. While I was away from town for a couple of years, I haven't played with the orchestra, but before I left, I played in the section back in the late 80s. And I hope to be playing some this year for you. So, Jerry Carlos, myself, and Mr. England, Wilbur England, play, and every now and then, various of our students end up there. So really, it is kind of the section for the Camerata. And we wanted to play some things that would give you an idea of what we really have to do. When you come listen to a Beethoven symphony, you might just get a chance to see a timpanist. Well, we do a lot of other things, and we didn't want to just look at music from this year's season, but maybe get a chance to expose you to some of the different type things that we do with all the different bizarre instruments. Maybe you'll appreciate what they do back there in the Camerata concert. So I tried to come up with a concept for tonight's performance, and really couldn't think of one, except maybe we could look at all the different types of percussion that don't necessarily happen on the Camerata stage. If we were to go back as far as we could through written and before written history, the first things we have ideas of that humans made noise with was ourselves. Body noises. And composers recently have been starting to incorporate that sort of thing into new music compositions. The first piece on tonight's program that Mr. England is going to conduct is for clappers. Sort of a bizarre concept for a piece of music just made up of clappers, but I think you're going to enjoy it. Let me introduce, for those of you who don't know already, Mr. Wilbur England, who's going to conduct this first piece.
Just a little background on the piece that they're doing. It was originally written for 12 percussionists and 12 dancers. And then it was revised and written for 6 dancers. And tonight, for 12 hand clappers, we're not going to have dancers, unfortunately. I'm going to be performing this on our percussion ensemble concert of October 13th, which you're all welcome to come and see, over in our hall. It's a brand new hall over there. And we'll be performing this number with I'm hoping, a modern dancer on stage, and they'll be performing they'll be positioning in sort of like a stage. The piece is divided into a group A, group B, which is front row, back row, and then it's further divided by twos. You'll hear solos of 2 against a ground figure, some sort of rhythmic figure on the thing. And I'm not conducting. They fired me, so they've got their own crew, and they're all going to handle this all by themselves. So without further ado, this is the IU Percussion Ensemble, -3. We only had need for 12, so we have 15 in the percussion ensemble. So this is IU Percussion Ensemble playing Voices.
3, 4.
history classes will tell you that the very first percussion ensemble, let me get my cohorts in here. Let's go ahead and start setting up for Rhythmica. Most music history classes will tell you that the very first percussion ensemble was written by Edgar Perez and it was called Ionization. That's not true. The first percussion ensembles were a series of Rhythmica pieces by this Roldan from 1931. And I think these are particularly interesting because we combine tribal influences, such as a rhythm called clave. You've probably seen claves, those two sticks we play together when you see the rumba, you know? Clave is actually a rhythmic pattern that goes kind of like this. Well, Roldan took that pattern and he incorporated that. He had, instead of just one clave pattern, he presented kind of a fugal use of that pattern with 4 different pitched claves and a collection of other Afro-Cuban instruments. We're setting up back here. You can almost see this pair of brass drums back here that are called timbales. And it's very ironic that those should be used along with the timpani back there, because timbales is Spanish for timpani. Timpani came over with the Spaniards, were modified to be timbales, and now Roldan is using both the new and the old in the same piece. So we're using Aboriginal instruments, tribal rhythms, yet with a Baroque style composition that's neo-barbaric, something like that. Anyway, are we almost ready to go? No one brought me a music stand. They just don't like me anymore. Want it done right. Number 5. The next piece is a little bit more modern, and it employs, we've all seen concerto before, where you've got an orchestra with a soloist or a small group of soloists out front being supported by that. Well, I hate to call this an orchestra, this ragtag bunch, but they are perhaps more like a rhythm section, and then there's soloists out front who are going to be playing kind of above them and on top of them. This piece is called Three Brothers, and the idea being that there's three soloists who are the three brothers within this quasi-Latin context here. It's by Michael Colgrass, who's a Canadian composer. Anybody any Canadians here? Oh, my wife would be disappointed. Wrote this piece in 1954, keeping in mind that the first serious composition for an ensemble like this was only 20 years before this. This is a very new concept of writing just for percussion. Think of how many years string quartets have been around and piano trios, hundreds and hundreds of years. We're the baby of the orchestra here. It's all brand new for us. All right, you are there, you are there. Normally I like to play so I can see you all, but since I have to conduct and play tonight, I'm going to have to back to you a little bit here. We've got Mr. Carlos, Gerald Carlos on timpani. Those of you who've been to the Camerata have seen Mr. Carlos perform. And Mr. Wilbur England on snare drum, and the guys on everything else.
We're not three brothers.
We're not related.
There. Parlis, our timpani soloist. Mr. Wilbur England on snare drum, and I played the bongos.
Three unrelated brothers.
Adopted brothers. Now we're going to go in a completely different direction. We've been banging and booming up here for a few minutes, and something that has no relation to what you may be used to seeing with the Camerata Orchestra. This next piece is slightly closer to what you may be used to seeing there. We're going to, I think, where are we on the program? Now? No? Okay. We're going to perform a transcription, which you've all heard before, of one movement of a Haydn string quartet for marimbas. Number 33, Opus 33, number 3, I think it is. We're going to do just the fourth movement of it. You've probably never heard a string quartet transcribed for marimbas before, but it actually, get no respect. It works pretty well. We've got to take a moment or two to get all the marimbas in here. This one here is actually the monster we have in the department. This is a 5-octave marimba, substantially larger. Your average marimba stops here at a C below middle C, for those of you who are inclined. An extended range goes to A below C below middle C, and this monster goes all the way down to C 2 octaves below middle C. It has we're all familiar with the xylophone. A marimba is kind of like an overgrown xylophone, rings a lot longer. Normal middle C is there, or octave below that, and with this thing we've got a full bass register. You get that deep register, so you really can play bass parts on it. We're going to be doing some marimba ensemble pieces later this year, where this part will actually play string bass parts, walking string bass parts. It's really a gorgeous instrument. The only problem is there's no elevator in the building that will take this down without taking it apart. So if we want to move it, we have to take it apart. But it's a small price to pay. Are we all here yet? Yeah? One of the nice things about doing these kind of casual performances is I get to play. Normally I just have to teach and conduct. Here I get to play a little bit. I can find where we are. Okay. Take off my coat, you don't mind, do you? It's adding a little percussion that we don't really need on this. All right. You know, I haven't had an opportunity to ask really, but I certainly haven't been thinking perhaps. If there's anything you wanted to ask us about what we're doing up here, any of the strange instruments or anything, yes, ma'am.
If you're a percussionist, can you easily play a lot of different percussionist instruments, or?
It's just something we're born with. No, it's very difficult.
Well, I didn't know if you played the timpani. Can you then go to the marimba? Can you then
It's
go to
probably one of the most unfair things about music education nowadays. If you play the violin, no one expects you to play the bass. If you play the flute, no one expects you to play the baritone saxophone. But in percussion, once you say, okay, I'm going to be a percussionist, you're expected to know how to play mallets, timpani, congas, all these bizarre and unrelated instruments. And I haven't quite figured out how I made the misfortunate mistake of getting myself in this position. And not only that, but you have to own them all. So you have to have a warehouse to put all this junk in. Actually, the students at Indiana are very, very lucky to be at a place this large that can afford to own so many of these instruments. And I really feel lucky to be able to be here and give them an opportunity to perform on these instruments. There's still things we're hoping to get. We don't yet have much in the way of electronics. Electronic percussion is the next field we haven't gotten into yet. But you have to go with the times, you have to stay on top of these things, and we have to get some of those instruments occasionally. We've got a Latin American music ensemble. It's going to be performing a concert next month. The percussion ensemble concert is what day?
October 13th.
October 13th, I think it's a Monday night.
Yes.
Yeah, if you found this remotely interesting, I hope you'd consider coming back. We'd be very happy to have you there with us. There's the jazz bands, there's all these things that we try to get our students, giving them an opportunity to play. But no, it doesn't just sort of happen. Our students might spend one semester studying timpani, another semester with perhaps Mr. Carlos, and then another semester perhaps with me studying drum set, or I might work with them on xylophone or whatever. But it's a crazy field. You've got to. I always say I strive for mediocrity on everything, and even that's difficult. Anyway, any other questions? I'm sorry. No. Okay. This last piece that we're going to play for you. Again, before we do, I'd like to thank you all for coming out. I hope you've given me some interesting performance tonight. The last piece we're going to play is a ragtime piece from, I don't have the date on it. I'm going to guess it's about 1935. It's a piece called Cross Corners. And it's written by George Hamilton Green, who was a legendary xylophone virtuoso. Composed all these wild xylophone pieces that all of us now are saddled with trying to learn. And many of them were written for xylophone with piano accompaniment, or band or orchestral accompaniment. And recently, someone up in Canada named Bob Becker has been transcribing all of those accompaniments for marimba ensemble. And so we get, one of us will play the solo part, and the rest of us try to get around on the accompaniment parts. Tonight, Mr. Jerry Noble, one of our new master's students in the percussion department, is going to play the solo for you. And the rest of us, Chris Martin is a graduate student, Todd Sheehan, Chris, you're a master's student? Is that right? Todd Sheehan is a doctoral student, and Nick is a master's? Yeah. Nick Papador, right? Papador, yeah. Okay, this is Cross Corners. It's a very confusing roadmap. We go to one place and back to the other and all over the place. So we're going to have to really pay attention to make sure we make all these correct jumps here. Let me find out where I am. Thank you very much. Well, it was a short but hopefully sweet program. We really appreciate your coming out, and we look forward to your faces in our percussion ensemble audiences in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you.